Hello, everybody. Welcome to a live edition of Breaking the Grade. And it just so happens that we have our first return guest in our Canadian friend, Robert Martellacci. And I'm going to let you talk, but I was thinking, I don't know if you do this, but I kind of take like a noon-ish nap after I eat. And I was thinking, how am I going to start this conversation? And the first thing that came to mind was a question for you. What do you think about the popped collar?
The popped collar.
Yeah. What do you
Well,
think about it?
I
I really
I
want to
kind
get
of
your
have one
thoughts.
on my Summit jacket here. It's kind of a pop collar. It's kind of cool.
You seem like a
Kind of
popped collar kind of guy.
kind of
Or
Elvis
if you
like.
saw me with a popped collar, would you want to pop me in the face?
I love your spirit, Josh. You are a legend in my books in that deck, and always honored to be on your show.
Thanks, man. Thanks for coming on. I'm a big fan of the popped collar. I'm a huge fan of you. And when you said, "Hey, let's talk Canadian Ed Tech Summit," I said, "Great, let's do it." So I'm happy to have you on the show. Remind everybody who you are, where you're from, and what you are up to, and then we'll rock and roll into
Yeah,
some
yeah,
topics.
absolutely. So, Robert Martellacci, I'm the founder and president of MindShare Learning Media. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary this coming year in EdTech. I had the honor of launching Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary's company school division back. He lured me away from York University, where I was sport information director and then ran the business alliance at the university and segued into EdTech because we were just getting on the internet, and it's kind of reminiscent of where we're at today in a pivotal moment in our journey. And Dr. Hinton, a professor emeritus serendipity, our summit is at University of Toronto, where he was a professor, talked about this being the true second industrial revolution. And so our summit, it's our 16th one. We're thrilled to have you moderating a super important panel around EdTech. And I kind of gave it a hockey theme, knowing that you're a big hockey fan and 12 years season ticket holder at the Caps. Congratulations on the Stanley Cups, which we haven't
Yeah.
seen in a very long time in Toronto. But it's about stick handling, navigating through the complexity of AI to achieve a hockey stick curve in business of EdTech.
Mm.
So how do
Ooh.
you like that analogy? That's
Oh
what you're going
man.
to be moderating with some pretty esteemed people.
I cannot wait, and might as well tell everybody, because I've already told everybody that I know, that we're going to a game on Tuesday against the
That's
Flames.
That's correct. I'm treating you to a hockey game because you're making a trek up from DC to Toronto, where our summit is taking place October 29th and 30th. You can see it there. I think I'm sharing my screen. It's just 34 days away. And we've got an incredible lineup of speakers, legendary people like Kathy Hurley, 50
Mm.
plus years in EdTech, who was my mentor and my VP at the Learning Company when Mr. Wonderful was our president. It's a K-12 post-secondary higher ed focused event that's going to be at the University of Toronto, Mississauga. And yeah, we've got a discovery, STEM AI discovery playground, play zone to really paint a picture for what the future looks like in the classroom.
That's fantastic. Well, anybody who is joining us that wants to chime in here, all over the world, especially Canada and the US, you can definitely put your name, your company in the chat. This is a great place that we all come together. We're actually talking about a show, and this is not any show. We re-aired the first show ever from Breaking the Grade, and the interview that John Gamba, you know him, and
Yes,
I
great
did,
friend.
yeah, was with Kevin Chavous.
Hmm.
And did you know Kevin Chavous before I shared the show with you, or was this your introduction to Kevin?
That was my introduction to Kevin.
Okay. So interestingly enough, I did a little bit of research with my friend AI, and I said, I want you to tell me some similarities between my friend Robert and my friend Kevin. And AI was able to draw some really interesting similarities between the
Wow.
two of you. Okay.
Wow.
So,
I'm
first
re-
of all,
yeah.
both of you are number one, bridge builders between education and technology and innovation. You, MindShare Learning. Kevin leads EdTech powered models such as Stride. Number two, you guys have thought leadership and agenda setting in your ecosystems. You run EdTech summits. Kevin has operated at national scale in US education reform. He was also on the DC Council, which is how I got to know Kevin growing up. There are several others, but I'll say number four. I'm going to skip over number three. I'm going to go to number four. I do know how to count, but number four is long arc. Persistence, influence over decades. Robert has been building, promoting, and evolving the Canadian EdTech movement for over 20 years. Kevin's public profile spans decades: council service, education reform work, executive roles, policy advocacy. Those are things that AI found. What I can tell you, because I know Kevin and I know you, is you are both really good men and awesome to be around.
Wow. Humbled by your kind words and those of AI.
Yeah.
it's well, I wish Kevin was here. Is he going to join us, or he's
Kevin's a busy man, you know. Kevin's like my friend John Gamba. Sometimes I'll reach out to John and not hear back. And, you know, I know Kevin was interested in us putting the show back up. But I didn't hear back from him. So all good. Kevin's a busy man. Hopefully he's saving education in this country because it absolutely needs his help.
right? And I hope he's watching or chimes in. That would be so cool for him to chime in and throw a question at us.
And you guys are both golfers.
And I'm a hockey player first.
Yeah.
I play 3 times a week. It's so important to balance. And we talk about well-being and balance. So that's my jam. So I still play on the faculty hockey team. I was recruited by the University of President at the time when I was sport information director, and I played some varsity hockey at York. And so I was playing on this line, and he was my age today. Fast forward to several decades, he retired at 92, and I'm the elder statesman on the
Wow.
faculty hockey team. And
But you're still playing.
I still play quite a game because I play to win, and I work to create win-wins and partnerships, well, mutually beneficial partnerships in what we do. And you refer to us as bridge builders. I come from an immigrant Italian family. My father was in construction,
Mhm.
so building is something that I knew well, and
I love that.
it's not easy. And it's my father built the subways in Toronto, and he had
Hmm.
colleagues that were injured, killed because they didn't have boring machines, or it was pick and shovel back in the day in the 50s. So,
Wow.
I'm grateful for the pathway they created. My parents, who immigrated from Italy post-war, that didn't have a chance to really go to school, that they made it a high priority for me, and hence I'm very passionate about learning and innovation. And yeah, that growth mindset. Do you think
Yeah.
is it nature versus nurture, a growth mindset? That's something that you and I embrace, and Gamba and Kevin. Nature, nurture, a hybrid. What are your thoughts
It's
on that?
a really good question, and it's actually something I was thinking about myself yesterday because I was thinking about my dad who I'm going to speak on Monday to a group of kind of first generation college students here. They're at ASU local
Hmm.
here in DC, and one of the things they wanted us to talk about, me to talk about, was kind of this idea of first generation. And I was thinking I'm kind of a first generation entrepreneur, but
Hmm.
then my dad ran his own law practice. And so you
Okay.
would think at that point he's kind of his own business owner. He's his own boss. So I think I saw his hard work day in and day out, carrying that briefcase, coming home. Not that my mom didn't work hard; she worked for Bill Bradley for 2 decades. So, but my dad was running his own business. So I think that it's a lot of nurture.
Hmm.
I think,
Yeah.
but I could be convinced otherwise. What do you think?
I think it's a combination. I think, um, being surrounded by smarter people than me, having mentors along the way, and that doesn't end. I've been blessed with some incredible mentors over the years, whether they were hockey coaches, professors, friends, colleagues. Kathy Hurley, you know,
Mm-hmm.
we just celebrated her 80th birthday in
I saw
Chicago
that. Looked like
a
a
couple of weeks
party.
ago. And yeah, it was a 3-day celebration. To still have almost 30 years later a strong friendship and relationship with her is quite amazing to me. But it takes
Yeah.
effort on both sides of the equation, right? So just like think of some of your most successful partnerships and clients that you have, and what that journey looked like in solidifying that. We work with a lot of really quality companies, like Adele as an example, who's been with us for many years. But
Mm-hmm.
you really value the relationship, and you strive to create mutually beneficial partnerships along the way.
Yeah.
And what and it has to evolve, right? Has to
Yeah.
evolve. They're a big part of our summit.
Yeah, well, I think you and I have developed a quick, mutually beneficial relationship. We have a lot of things in common, and we want to help each other out. And
Right.
I couldn't have thought of a more perfect person to pop up on into my inbox to say, "Hey, do you want to promote the summit?" And this was a perfect time. I didn't think get the vibe that Kevin was going to be able to make it, which is totally fine. Some of the takeaways from Kevin's show, I think very much resonate with the way you do what you do. One of the takeaways from Kevin's show was that proof comes from wins and from setbacks.
Hmm.
Proof comes from wins and setbacks. Do you think, as an entrepreneur, as a father, I don't know, how about a Leafs fan, that you
Oh,
learn more from that you learn more from your setbacks or from your wins?
uh, I, as a hockey coach for 15 years, would say to my little tyke players and beyond, you learn more from losing than winning, because you're more reflective, you're problem solving. What do we need to do better for the next game?
Mm,
And it holds true in business, right? Uh, you know, uh, I was speaking. We're having a Thrive Thursday feast lunch with our members at our co-working space here, and one of our STEM tutoring partners is speaking now to the group about her journey. And when I introduced myself, I said, I started my workspace, you know, here in a shopping mall because of a problem I had. And the problem was the university needed the space back, where I had a great partnership. I launched, ironically, my summit at York University. And after 5 years, where I was in the Institute for Tech and Learning office, they needed the space back. So
mm,
I thought to myself, now what do I do? Where do I go? I was quite settled. I wanted to situate near the university. where, we have great synergy and collaborating, hiring students and grads and partnerships, events. And then I was commuting an hour each way. So
Mm.
by happenstance, I ended up in a shopping mall through conversations. So through problem solving conversations, I was discovered by the mall management here in Air Mills that, the bigger mall was trying to lure me away, and they offered me more space.
That's so
So
cool.
it got to be a competitive thing. And I said, you know what? I'm going where they're offering me more space, and they really, really want me here to help transform this mall. So we were a game changing business, that catalyst for this mall that was not thriving. And there was a big initiative in the city on the future of malls, because malls, as they are known to be dying in North America, need to be reinvigorated. And we
Yeah.
are considered a pivotal player in being a catalyst to bring synergy, to bring uh, entrepreneurs that will shop, eat, and inspire. So,
Cool.
that's how that evolved. So, and I specifically said, and it wasn't a direct path.
Yeah,
You know,
totally. So
if
this
you
idea of
knew, right, if
the
you know,
setback.
right. So if you fully understand and know what you're going to get into, sometimes it's good to be a little bit naive into what you're getting, do your homework, but leave some flexibility, be a little bit
Mm,
agile
mm,
in your mindset, because it might not go that direction, it might go this direction.
mm.
And so that, and I just introduced our new technology that we're bringing into North America, and I'll just give you a glimpse of it. So this is a glimpse of what I shared with our members today, and it's called the
Yeah,
MindShare Workspace Pod. It's a
cool.
branded pod that's going to go into malls and classrooms, school districts,
Wow.
universities, and co-working spaces. So airports, and so and that's a pivot that we're making,
I love,
right,
man,
through our
I
homework.
I could really use, I'm sure my wife and my kid would invest in one of those if they would let us, if I could put it inside our 1,100 square foot apartment. They'd be really happy because
I
they
think
wouldn't have
there's
to
a
hear me.
A Christmas is coming.
That's right. Christmas is coming to the Chernikovs. They'd be so happy. One of the other takeaways from Kevin's show is he really talks about community buy-in and how you have to have champions, parents, teachers, faculty, students to accelerate adoption faster than a sales script.
Wow,
Um, and
wow!
and so, can
I
you
love
talk
that.
about community buy-in?
Are you kidding? I absolutely love that statement.
Hmm.
Kevin, I can't wait to meet him. I want
You
to
love him.
host you and him on a podcast, because what we're talking about is empowering human-centered, sustainable learning. In order to achieve that, as part of the summit, we're bringing the ecosystem of students, parents, teachers, leaders, ed techs, higher ed folks, uh, all the policymakers. We're bringing the ecosystem to the table, because it takes a village to transform. It takes a village to transform learning in a pivotal moment in our history, where Dr. Hinton, the pioneer of AI, said, we're in the second industrial revolution, in the moment, in this moment in time, right
Mm,
now. So it 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 is hard work. Digital transformation is hard work, and it doesn't happen overnight. Everyone's still piloting. I've done podcasts with superintendents, with CIOs, with teachers, with ed techs, and everyone's piloting right now that we know of, because they don't know what the costs are. Upskilling is a huge challenge. You're dealing with teacher unions. You're dealing with the resistors, right? We're truly at our infancy
mm,
in this moment in time in our history, of AI and where this is going. And there's going to be huge consolidation. There's going to be massive consolidation. There's massive opportunities, but people will need to reskill and embrace that growth mindset. The portrait of a graduate that you talk about in the US,
Right.
we have the 7 C's, C21 Canada, that the foundation that I started and lead. And I feel that, from an assessment perspective, that credential of the portrait of a graduate, that stamp of the 7 C's, kids need to be able to think critically. They need to be able to communicate clearly and work in teams and leverage the tools that they have. We just had a new co-op student come in today, and I asked him specifically, what skills do you have? What is your hope? What do you want to do? And he wants to be an entrepreneur. I said, this is a place for you. You're going to learn to multitask. You're going to upskill your digital skills. You're going to learn entrepreneurship, and we're about excellence, by the way. So nothing but excellence. We are at the top of our game, and when you work at the top of your game, you know, a bit of pressure there, and not everyone wants to be excellent. I discovered
Yeah,
through my
that's
career,
true.
right?
That's true. By the way, the reason I was looking down is I grabbed my phone, I went to Facebook, and I wrote Kevin a message and say, "We'd love to have you on because you
Thoughts?
guys should meet one way or another." And shout out to Alvin on our team and Ken on our team. We just wrapped up 2 master classes yesterday, and when you do a master class, there's this kind of like what I'm sure you're experiencing with the conference. There's all this buildup, all this work. Then you have the day of, and we had the master class. We did 2 of them yesterday, and then you have uh, the launch part where you open the cart, where you try and sign people up, and Ken and Alvin could have fallen across the finish line, but they reached the finish line and now they're sprinting across the finish line. We're pulling each other. So I know what you're saying in terms of people who want it and people who think that they want it. So talk about this conference, this summit that you're leading, and just give us like an insight into this. Must be a really big weight on your shoulders. I mean, how much build up? How long do you plan? Like, what are your expectations? What are your
Hmm.
fears?
Right. So, we're expecting 300 to 400 leaders, teachers, to attend, and there's a lot at stake, right? So we have done really well with sponsors. We're partnered with the Peel District School Board. We've never in our history had a school board invest in our summit,
Hmm,
but we impressed them enough last year that they approached us, the superintendent of innovation, AI, and pathways. How is that for a job title?
that's a big one.
Bernadette Smith is remarkable. They're at scale. They're able to innovate at scale with 150,000 students. They have
Hmm,
an innovation project where um, schools apply for funding for innovating projects in schools,
hmm.
and then they have a showcase. So we are showcasing some of those top innovations from their school district. How cool is that? I don't know any large districts that embark on that.
I think that they wouldn't. I think only a school district that was innovative and ballsy would do that because they would probably be fearful of, at least in the United States, getting involved with something that was a little bit outside their lane, even though
Hmm.
for you guys, for this particular school district, it is in their lane. So super cool.
It's remarkable. So we're fortunate to have the number one university in Canada partner with us,
Yeah.
along with one of the top school districts in Canada, second largest in Canada, and we have the largest school district represented in Peter Singh, who's the CIO of the Toronto District School Board, my alma mater, and it's a big undertaking. We have a small, lean team. We start planning this back in March. We started planning in March, and it takes time. But at the end of the day, it's about impact and the ability to engage with some of the brightest minds in K-12 and higher ed, in industry and education and private sector. Like that's pretty cool.
To put
It's
on a conference like this, what do you have? Does you do you have members of your team who split off and do this? Do you have specific people who only do this all year long? Give people an idea uh, what it takes to really put on a world-class
yeah.
conference.
Yeah, thank you for that. So we actually weave it into our work. So we have
Okay.
a small team, and we work on it most of the year, I would say. And we have co-op students. So we have co-op students helping us with social media, and third year a computer engineering student from Western University, a top school, and we have our full-time team as well. So it is it's one of our main projects for the year, and we're fortunate to have it really local this year because the university is 10 minutes from my office, so it's really cool. And
Mhm.
we have a Can-Am international reception, so it's very international. We have representation from Australia. We're partnered with the FETC conference. We're partnered with the BET conference folks, so we have representation from BET that's presenting at our conference. We've got you from the U.S. along with Lisa Schmucky and Kathy Hurley, and
Nice.
Evan St. Leifer is coming up. So we've got a great community of edtech leaders that are going to be part of this. Some of the top companies in the industry. Um, Canva from Australia is Cami. We've got Nelson is the oldest publisher in Canada, a 110-year-old publisher. We've got Dell Technologies, so Logix Academy. So we've got STEM, robotics. We have the whole spectrum
Beautiful.
represented, which
Is
is part of my philosophy.
is uh is there any you guys seem like the nicest people in the world. Is there except most people don't like Tom Wilson, who plays for the Caps, and he's Canadian,
I
but
love Tom Wilson.
I love Tom
My
Wilson too. I wouldn't love him if he wasn't on our team. I'd feel like he was an agitator, like, those Penguin,
we need
you know,
Tom Wilson on our
who
team to win the
who
Stanley
doesn't
Cup.
need Tom Wilson? Yeah.
And my daughter was in love with Tom Wilson, if you can tell him that.
I mean, I don't know.
Then he got
Except
married, so
yeah,
yeah.
he did well for himself, but he feels to me like uh, like a Ryan Reeves. He's the type of guy that Chris Letang, like they're just agitators. He happens to be a big one, but can you talk about? Is there any ill will between our wonderful neighbors from the north and the U.S.? Do you feel any of that? How do you navigate that, considering some of the
Yeah,
stuff you're seeing?
that's a great question. I recall, to use a hockey jargon slogan, borrowed from the Pittsburgh Penguins when we visited their dressing room. My boys played prep school hockey at St. Mike's in Toronto. We were in the Midwest prep, and our coach was a scout for the Penguins. So in their workout room, the
Mhm,
slogan is, "You're either in or you're in the way."
mhm.
And it's so appropriate in this conversation because we're navigating around, or stick handling around, the complexities of doing business with our friends in the US. And I can say everyone that we know in education understands um, the situation we're in, and we get a lot of apologies. Um, this too shall pass. And it's about being kind. It's about being kind and respectful. And Canadians generally are kind and respectful and inclusive. Um, our co-working space is we celebrate diversity as our strength, and in people, where they're from, the most cosmopolitan area in the country is here in my workspace. And in the types of businesses too, there's great synergy in collaborating with diverse folks. We have the best restaurants in the world because people are all from somewhere else, and we respect each other, generally speaking. And we can't control governments, but we just navigate around the complexities to do what we do, and this too shall pass.
Speaking of getting groups of people together, I'm going to talk for a moment about our next cohort for the Ed Sales Elevation Experience, where it will start on October 14th at 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern. Companies, all in education, 2 people per company to join. This is our 13th cohort. We've worked with over
Wow.
160 companies in education. Yesterday, we had our master class where we got a chance to talk to folks about making sure that they started the school post implementation so that they are planting seeds and we can have real conversations in January, February, and March. April, May, June, they're signing contracts. Fall of 2026, they've got themselves a really wonderful company. And so I hope that people who made it to the masterclass,
It's awesome.
we had about 75 people sign up for the masterclass. We had probably about 75% of those people actually show up. And so I don't know if Alvin can put in the chat the special link we have for my calendar. And therefore, if people do want to talk to me, this is a calendar link that will kind of be prioritized in my calendar to talk to people about the Ed Sales Elevation Experience, to get them to join, because we are accepting applications. We have 6 more slots left, and they will fill. I have no doubt about it. It always happens. But I want to just kind of mention that we've got this cohort coming up. So you and I are making a point to bring all different types of and so that's another way that you and I are
Amazing.
aligned.
I'd be happy to participate in some way, and yeah.
We should do that. We started off having speakers, and then we kind of got away from that. But I think you would be a great speaker. There's that link. Thank you, Al, for putting it in there. So, Robert, I want to just kind of bring it back a little bit to the summit.
Right.
And what we'll do is kind of end with this, because it's really important that we get members of the Ed Sales Elevation Experience community up going to this summit. So can you talk specifically to our audience who are EdTech founders, entrepreneurs, business owners, about why they should go to your summit?
Great question. Well, it's about relationships, right? I've been in EdTech for almost 30 years, and people that come into EdTech tend to stay in EdTech, and building trusted relationships at the highest levels. I know I have good friends who are superintendents, CIOs, and I have great friends that are teachers and principals and everyone in between. And building those trusted relationships is absolutely critical if you are serious about being successful and making an impact in education. You have to have the right tool or solution at the right time, and and have those critical conversations. And we open a lot of doors for companies that come up into Canada, and that's a lot. Part of our consulting is go to market. So we do a lot of go to market. We do go to market playbooks. We've worked with Lego. We work with many international companies in making inroads into the Canadian market. And so if you're looking to expand internationally, Canada is a great jumping off point because there's so many parallels, as opposed to going into a foreign country that has another language. We're very friendly to Americans, generally speaking. And we would love to have your network come to Canada. I'm going to give 2 VIP passes away today.
Ooh.
So if someone wants to chime in about, their company and why they would want to come to the Canadian EdTech Summit, and if they put hashtag Toronto Maple Leafs, especially Stanley Cup champions 2026,
That's
you
it.
will win 2 VIP passes.
That's
Uh,
amazing.
hashtag Stanley Cup 2026 must be in there though.
I I love where your head's at. Maybe you've taken one too many hits from Tom Wilson, but that's okay. Maybe also, Alvin, can you put the link in that I gave you earlier today so that people can go visit the summit website and they can look at tickets? But it sounds like Robert has got some VIP tickets here. So
Yes.
that's really exciting.
And we have $100 off till tomorrow on registration. We have limited space available for sponsors if folks were looking to sponsor. And yeah, so it's never been a more exciting time to be in education. 34 days to go. Um, and it's going to be one of the most pivotal events in our Canadian ed tech sector uh, in modern time. I would hazard to,
I love
given
that.
the caliber of people and the digital transformation that is upon us. Trains left the station. The AI train has left the station, and it's not going back.
Not at all. Are there other topics that people might obviously AI is always a big one. What are some of the other topics that might interest folks to come up and make the trip
Right,
north?
right. So specifically for edtechs, we're looking at
Yes.
international growth opportunities and where those opportunities are. And I'm sure that the BET folks will be talking about opportunities at the BET conference. They're in Singapore as well, and they have an event in South America now. So it's truly an international company now with events throughout the world. So there's lots of opportunities to explore international, gain insight on what tools are being used in schools. Potential channel partners will be there, um, and legends of EdTech, and yourself and Kathy Hurley and Lisa Schmucky and Evan St. Leifer and many others.
Amazing. You know who's not going to be there, which is unfortunate, is John Gamba, and I'm going to tell him to contact you because this guy, he's one of the most accomplished people I know. But when it comes to travel, he struggles. And so he messaged me. He's going to be in Milan in like 4 weeks, and he's asking me where he should stay. And I just want to say, man, you could try Google, you could try AI, but of course, I'll help the guy out. But maybe you could tell him a great place to stay in
In
Milan. Do
Milan.
you know
Sure.
Milan?
Yeah, I know Milan.
Okay,
And if I didn't know where to stay, I can ask friends that know it very well. So I'm
that's
going to
right.
do that. I'm going to get him a couple of suggestions. But yeah, I would love. So he is totally not available. We can chime him in for Milan.
We can. I'll tell you, I have a story about Milan in that I
Yeah.
was there and I bought a pair of super cool Pumas that
Wow.
I still have today. They're one of the sneakers that I told, my wife, like, we're not getting rid of these. And they're super special to me because I wore them during the Stanley Cup run of 2018 for the Caps. They were my Rock the Red shoes. And
Wow.
they're super cool. And now that I think about it, maybe I'll break them out for the summit. Maybe I'll break them out for your summit and bring them up to Toronto and wear those puppies on the floor.
Well, that would be so appropriate because of Canada and the red leaf, the flag. You'd be an instant hit, and perhaps you'll even be offered some Canadian citizenship with those shoes.
I'll take it, man. I'll take it. Chris Kelly, who is a mutual friend of ours, said when I told him you were coming on, and I said, Chris, you got to join us because we're going to talk some hockey. He said, I can't make it, but that you potentially would sing the Canadian national anthem. And I said, let me tell you, I can sing the Canadian national anthem. It is my favorite national anthem. I've almost been arrested on multiple occasions late at night with my buddies singing the Canadian national anthem. I'm not suggesting we should do it, but maybe we should warm up our voices for when we're up there.
Sure. At the count of three, I won. One, two, three.
You're not
It goes
getting me to
like
sing.
this. Oh, Canada, our home and native land. I'll save it there for
True
the hockey
patriot.
game that you come
Come
to.
on. Oh man.
Yes,
It has
you know it.
One of my favorite lines in any national anthem. God keep our land. God keep this land glorious and free. Our land, this land. God keep our land glorious and free.
Yes.
You pick it up.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Amazing. I am going to share with Alvin, who is producing this show, the video from, I don't know, the Leafs or whoever singing that national anthem because it's fantastic. And I appreciate you coming on the show and singing portions of the national anthem. I look forward to singing it with you in my red Pumas, which I'm going to have to find in our storage unit, but I'm going to break those puppies out. Robert, I really appreciate you.
Sounds like a plan.
On. Yeah, we're going to have a great time up there.
Grateful for your time. Grateful for your
Thank
time.
you.
Oh, it's going to be the best. And most importantly, it's about impact, right? And I value your expertise and insight. You're such a deep thinker and passionate about making an impact in education. We're both part of the ERDI expert panel that we attend, and that's where we met. And we've never looked back. It's like serendipity for sure.
I would drop the gloves to protect you from anybody, my friend. But I don't know how much protection I would give you. You probably take care of yourself pretty well, but I do it for you. So thank you for coming on. Thanks for being so great.
Yeah, likewise.
All right, everybody. That is us. That is Robert. That is Josh. You will see us up in Canada at the end of October. We're going to be sharing lots more information about this event so that our community can make it north and support Robert and the rest of the group. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.